What's up, guys? This is Dex from Marfoogle News, and we need to talk. This video is vital, and I would say the topic is of the utmost importance to every man, woman, and child on Earth. And that topic is food, or more importantly, the ongoing food wars that threaten to gouge your pocketbook, or even worse, starve you and your loved ones. And what's most surprising is to learn which countries are preparing their populations and which ones are not. As a quick reminder, if you find value in this video, I kindly ask that you help by sharing, liking, and subscribing. That goes a long way. Food is an essential for survival, so you would think food security would be more of a priority for our U.S. national government, especially after how quickly we saw our food supply and supply chain almost come to a halt as a result of the pandemic. After all, you'd think what we went through over the past 2 years would bring a reckoning and a renewed appreciation for our agriculture sector. Still, our farming communities are experiencing the exact opposite. In fact, there's a war on America's farming happening right now before our very eyes. But do you think the USDA is doing anything about it? Now let's take a look across the Pacific at the Chinese government, which is prioritizing food security. This action will put China significantly ahead of America and give China significant leverage over the U.S. food supply chain. So what is China doing to be food self-sufficient? China has prioritized food security for several decades, and it remains at the forefront of the country's 5-year plans. Here are some ways China is trying to make its country less dependent on other countries for food. Increased food production. The growing demand for food initially forced China to increase food production. However, in recent years, domestic food production has grown even more. Boosting agricultural research and development. According to the CSIS, the political will and ability to confront future food security challenges are demonstrated by the country's position as the largest public agricultural research and development system in the world. With 33% of Chinese citizens working in the agricultural sector, that's more than the entire U.S. population. To contrast that, the U.S. only has 6% of its population working in agriculture. Studying seed modernization. China is investing a significant amount of time and money into seed modernization. The 13th 5-year plan aims to achieve 97% self-sufficiency of main crops and a 50% increase of yield from new seed varieties. In addition to the billions of dollars put into GMO seed development programs in China, Chinese scientists are also sending seeds to space to see how seeds grow in different climates. Seeds in China are considered the computer chips of agriculture. Stockpiling food. Starting in 1990, China began stockpiling grain, and they've continued to do so. According to the upheaval, stockpiling rapidly grew by the end of 2022. In China, with its 20% of the world's population, is projected to accumulate and stash away some 65% of the world's corn and 53% of the world's wheat. I'm going to repeat that. They have 20% of the world's population, and they have stashed away 65% of the world's corn and 53% of the world's wheat. Preventing food waste. In April 2021, the National Anti-Food Waste Law was put into effect. Under this law, individuals who order excess food can be fined. Buying food manufacturing plants in the United States. Multiple Chinese-based companies have acquired food companies in the United States. AG Web Farm Journal reported in 2013, Shanghua International purchased the U.S.-based Smithfield Foods. At the time of the sale, Smithfield had 25 U.S. plants, 460 farms, and contracts with 2,100 producers in 12 states. In 2014, the Chinese National Cereals, Oil and Foodstuff Corporation, COFCO, bought 2 major agricultural trading companies, Noble Agri and Nigeria. In 2017, ChemChina paid almost $46 billion for the acquisition of Syngenta, giving the CCP above board access to transgenic seeds and crop production products. Buying up farmland in the United States. China continues to buy land in the United States. China already owns 191,000 acres of U.S. land before acquiring an additional 300 acres in North Dakota. It's such a concern that the House committee voted to block China and other foreign countries, Russia, North Korea, and Iran, from farm purchases in the United States in June of 2022. However, to date, nothing official has actually passed. Why China is focusing on food security. According to The Diplomat, in April 2021, Chinese President Xi Jinping declared that food security is an important foundation for national security. Why is it so important? There are several reasons. First, China has experienced significant population growth. As a result, they need more food to feed their booming population. Second, China has suffered famine before. During the 1950s, millions of Chinese citizens died due to hunger. And finally, they want to make sure they control the food. If you control the food, you control the people. President Xi was quoted as saying, "The food of the Chinese people must be made by and remain in the hands of the Chinese." If China is forced to depend on other countries for food to survive, it will not be in control. And that's what they want. They want control. They want to control their people, and they want to be the agricultural powerhouse of the world. China Daily reports, the president highlighted food security as a major issue, calling it one that the nation cannot afford to be complacent about. He repudiated the notions that food security is no longer an important matter in the age of industrialization, or that China could rely on international markets as a solution. China must stabilize its production of its staple food and corn, expand the acreage of soybeans and other crop cultivations, and keep its annual growth output at more than 650 million metric tons to ensure its food self-sufficiency, he said. So how's China's food security plans hurting America? It's easy to dismiss China's food security plans as something taking place on the other side of the world. But there will be a direct repercussion in the United States. According to the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review, these efforts present several risks to the U.S. economic and national security. For example, Chinese companies' acquisition of hog herds in the United States may save China money and enhance its domestic capacity. However, this could reduce China's need for U.S. source production and redistribute the environmental effect of hog waste to U.S. communities. If further consolidation and Chinese investment in the U.S. agricultural assets take place, China may have undue leverage over the U.S. supply chains. China's access to U.S. agricultural IP may also erode the United States' competitiveness in agricultural technology that supports food production. Additionally, China's illicit acquisitions of GM seeds provides a jumpstart to China's own development of such seeds and deprives U.S. companies of revenue and offers an opportunity to discover vulnerabilities in the U.S. crops. In addition, consider the way America is already hindering its own farmers and food manufacturers and plants with new regulations. While we are investing time and money in green energy and sustainable farming methods, China has dismantled solar farms to create more productive agricultural land. What does that tell you? The truth is, America is already behind when it comes to food self-sufficiency. If we face something extreme, we cannot depend on our government to feed us. We must be able to feed ourselves. So I suggest you stay aware. Know what is happening so you can stay ahead of supply shortages. Grow your own food. Start collecting seeds and growing food in your own yard. Start a hobby farm. Now is the time to raise your own meat. Support your local farms. American farmers and ranchers need your support now more than ever before. Befriend them and support them. And start stocking up your preps. invest in food storage. Get food, prepare your own food, store it for long-term survival. And if you're looking for an easy solution, you can go to our website at marfooglenews.com/prep. Don't forget, please like, share, and subscribe. Dex out.